At an airport, chaos unfolds as a plane attempts to take off while police officers fire relentlessly at it. Inside, Franklin watches the mayhem, fully aware that they're about to crash. In that moment, his life flashes before his eyes. Franklin, widely known as Remedy in the tech world, is a blogger focused on achieving optimal health. Sitting beside him is Sig, the owner of a pharmaceutical company responsible for releasing a highly addictive and lethal drug, one that has caused thousands of deaths. This story began 3 months earlier. Desperate for an opportunity to interview Anton, a renowned health and technology guru, Franklin takes a job as a ticket taker at an exclusive event. However, arriving late costs him a good first impression, and he misses the full explanation of how to properly scan attendees' tribands for entry. When he makes a mistake, his boss berates him harshly. Fortunately, his coworker Jala steps in to defend him, and the two strike up a conversation. They instantly connect, and Franklin asks for her number. Instead of giving it, she playfully sets an alarm on his phone, reminding him to meet her after the presentation. Later, Franklin sneaks into the bathroom where he meets Andy, a friend who has stolen and hacked a tri-band from his boss. Since Franklin couldn't afford a ticket, Andy's trick gives him access to the event. Using the band, Franklin successfully bypasses security and sneaks backstage just in time to witness Anton's arrival, accompanied by his mysterious assistant, Ingram. Hiding behind the curtains, Franklin hopes to stay unnoticed, but Anton quickly spots him. Rather than reacting with anger, Anton simply asks, "Who and why?" Though his gaze seems to be directed more at Ingram than Franklin. Franklin also catches a glimpse of an expensive ring on Anton's finger. Despite realizing that Franklin's tri-band isn't authentic, Anton doesn't call security. Instead, he allows him to stay and watch the presentation. As Anton steps onto the stage, the crowd erupts with excitement, though two individuals, Renee and Calvert, remain serious and detached. Anton begins speaking about his groundbreaking invention, the tri-band, a wrist-worn device designed to monitor physiology, decode DNA, and create personalized health plans for each user. It sends reminders about diet, exercise, and wellness routines. However, today's presentation is different. Anton unveils his latest breakthrough, the tri-band 5. Unlike previous versions, this one doesn't just send reminders, it naturally influences users to enjoy healthy habits without needing any external prompts. The innovation promises to eliminate the need for medicine altogether, including treatments for diabetes, high blood pressure, and even addiction. Meanwhile, near the backstage entrance, a guard suddenly turns on his colleague, knocking him out with a taser before sprinting toward the stage. In his rush, he collides with Franklin. Raising his gun, the rogue guard fires into the air, claiming that Anton's company is manipulating everyone. Before he can say more, Franklin seizes the moment. Grabbing a wheeled table, he slams it into the guard, creating just enough of a distraction for the other security personnel to detain him. While Renee and Calvert exchange uneasy glances, clearly displeased with the situation, Anton sees things differently. Grateful for Franklin's quick thinking, he assures him that the interview will still happen as planned. Before heading off, Anton casually tells Franklin to check his hand. Only then does Franklin realize he's bleeding. After getting his wound bandaged, Franklin hands over his tri-band to security as part of the investigation. As the officer leaves, something catches Franklin's eye. Anton's ring lying on the ground. He picks it up, and just then, his phone buzzes with an alarm from Jala. Examining the ring, Franklin's fingers brush against the stone, and in an instant, time rewinds. He suddenly relives the exact same moment. The officer repeats his words, Jala's alarm goes off, and once again, the ring appears before him. A chill runs through Franklin as he hastily wraps the ring inside his bandage before heading to meet Jala at a restaurant. While waiting for her, curiosity gets the better of him, and he takes another look at the ring. This time, when the waitress checks on him, she accidentally touches the stone, triggering the rewind again. Testing the ring further with his phone's stopwatch, he discovers its ability. It sends him back precisely 57 seconds. Soon, Jala arrives, and they decide to go somewhere special. As the evening unfolds, they bond over deep conversation. Franklin learns that Jala is an artist while he shares his passion for writing about the intersection of technology and health, even mentioning some of his published articles. Their connection grows stronger, and when Jala suddenly kisses him, things escalate, leading them to his apartment. However, just as things heat up, she spots a woman's purse in his closet and immediately assumes he has a girlfriend. Alarmed, she tries to leave. Without hesitation, Franklin rewinds time. This time, he quickly shuts the closet before she notices anything. But Jala's sharp eyes catch a framed photo of a woman instead, making her suspicious again. Once more, Franklin resets the moment, making sure to hide both the purse and the picture before she even arrives. As the night continues, Franklin cleverly uses the ring to perfect each moment, fulfilling Jala's requests before she even voices them, making himself seem effortlessly in tune with her desires. The following morning, elsewhere in the city, Renee and Calvert prepare for an important meeting. Their destination, a powerful figure behind the scenes, none other than Sig. He starts wondering if the attack had just been a publicity stunt. To get to the bottom of it, he orders Calvert to keep an eye on Franklin, hoping to uncover any useful clues. Meanwhile, he also instructs Renee to dig up information on the new triband, determined to prove it's fake. After all, if it convinces people to stop taking medicine, his profits will take a hit. Elsewhere, Franklin and Jala are enjoying breakfast when, out of nowhere, Franklin's car gets towed. Calvert, watching from a distance, observes closely. Franklin attempts to use his ring to stop it, but isn't quick enough, leaving him stuck with the problem of raising enough money to get it back. Then, inspiration strikes after he catches an ad on TV. Wasting no time, he heads to a casino and discreetly uses his ring to secure repeated wins. Soon, he's raking in cash, drawing the attention of the crowd, including Calvert, who finds the whole situation suspicious. With enough money in hand, Franklin treats himself to a sleek new car, realizing he can keep using his trick to build an even bigger fortune. He returns to the casino for another round of winnings, but this time things don't go as smoothly. As he tries to leave, the casino staff ambushes him. He quickly rewinds time, attempting to sneak out unnoticed, even abandoning his winnings to avoid trouble. But no matter what he does, they always catch up and rough him up in the parking lot. Convinced he's cheating, they demand a confession. Just then, Calvert steps in, calling them out, and the staff reluctantly lets Franklin go, warning him never to return. Later, Calvert invites Franklin to lunch, pressing him for answers about his uncanny luck. Franklin, however, plays it cool, insisting he's just fortunate. Calvert then extends an invitation to meet Sig, but Franklin declines, well aware that Sig is responsible for a deadly drug that has cost thousands of lives. Before parting ways, Calvert hands him his card, just in case. That evening, Jala visits Franklin, surprised to see his apartment looking much more refined, thanks to new furniture. While using his computer, she stumbles upon a wallpaper of a woman, prompting Franklin to open up. He reveals that she was his twin sister who tragically overdosed 4 years ago. After surviving a car crash, she had been prescribed Sig's medicine, which turned her into an addict. Franklin has been writing serious articles for the newspaper under his real name, but on his blog, he operates under the alias Remedy, dedicated to exposing corrupt corporations like Sig's. Jala, deeply moved, calls him a hero and vows to keep his secret. In return, Franklin surprises her with a collection of painting supplies he bought for her. Just as they are about to take his new car for a spin, Franklin receives a call from Anton inviting him for an interview. Ingram is already outside, waiting to pick him up. Upon arriving at the office, Anton gifts him 2 tribands, one for him and one for Jala. During their discussion, Anton elaborates on his vision, explaining his goal of eliminating the need for medicine entirely. His plan isn't just about preventing illnesses, but also stopping accidents before they even happen, all through a special substance infused with quantum particles. Before wrapping up, Anton tells Franklin to trust his sense of justice. Later that night, Franklin debates whether he should accept Sig's invitation, hoping to get him to admit his crimes. Jala encourages him to go for it. The following day, Franklin meets Sig, and without hesitation, brings up his sister, then lands a punch right on Sig's face. Quickly rewinding time, he restarts the encounter with a more diplomatic approach, pretending to admire Sig's work. Sig, having heard from Calvert about Franklin's casino luck, proposes a bet. If Franklin correctly predicts what will happen after Sig whistles, he'll receive $100,000 per article written in favor of the company. If he gets it wrong, he'll be forced to write 5 articles at half his usual rate. Franklin accepts, guessing a dog will show up, but when Sig whistles, one of his models arrives instead, kissing and massaging him. Without missing a beat, Franklin rewinds time, changes his answer, and nails the prediction. Now, he secured himself a well-paying job. After Franklin leaves, Sig speculates that Anton is behind Franklin's abilities and decides it's best to keep him close. That evening, Franklin shares his plan with Jala. She worries that accepting this job means selling out, but Franklin reassures her. His real goal is to gain Sig's trust, access his files, and expose him. He also promises to use the money for good, including improving their lives. Then, to Jala's surprise, he pulls out his sister's ring and proposes. Without hesitation, she says yes. The next day, Franklin presents Sig with an idea. Rather than writing multiple praise-filled articles, he suggests a grand rebranding event in a few months. Sig likes the concept and rewards Franklin with his own office in the house. Left alone, Franklin is briefly approached by one of Sig's models who tries to flirt with him, but he quickly shuts her down, stating he's taken. Watching from the shadows, Sig, who had been spying on Franklin hoping to gather blackmail material, is left frustrated. He instructs Renee and Calvert to devise a new plan to uncover Franklin's secret. Soon, Franklin and Jala move into a luxurious new home, settling into their upgraded lifestyle. Meanwhile, Sig invites them on a private jet trip to Miami, requiring them to leave their tri-bands behind under the guise of company policy. In reality, he suspects Anton has been assisting Franklin through the device and wants to test his theory. The group arrives at a casino, where Franklin's winning streak continues thanks to the ring. Despite Sig and the security team keeping a close watch, they find no evidence of cheating. Meanwhile, Renee strikes up a conversation with Jala, hoping to extract some useful information, but it turns out Jala knows nothing. As the night progresses, Franklin and Jala take to the dance floor. However, Franklin is caught off guard when he spots Ingram watching them. Instinctively, he slips the ring into his pocket. Later, as they sit together enjoying drinks, an armed man suddenly appears, seeking revenge on Sig for the deaths he caused. Gunfire erupts, and Jala gets caught in the crossfire. Without hesitation, Franklin grabs the ring and rewinds time. This time, when the attacker approaches, Franklin swiftly takes him down with a blow to the head using a bottle. Back home, Franklin learns that the news is hailing him as a hero, and even Jala seems to agree. She reminds him about her upcoming art exhibition, and Franklin promises to be there. However, his attention shifts when the news reveals the identity of the shooter. To his shock, Franklin recognizes him. The man's wife once worked for Sig, but mysteriously turned up dead at the office, with no media coverage at all. On the screen, the grieving husband pleads for an investigation into the company, claiming they're blackmailing people. The following day, Franklin approaches Renee, asking for the file on the deceased woman, claiming he needs to clean up the story. Renee agrees to look into it, but immediately rushes to warn Sig. Meanwhile, Calvert grows suspicious of Franklin, believing that both recent attacks were orchestrated to boost his public image. Later, Sig personally hands Franklin the file, only for him to find it completely empty. Blaming Renee's supposed incompetence, Sig shifts gears and offers Franklin a new reward for uncovering these internal issues. Soon, the two are at an out-of-town bar, taking shots. Sig presents Franklin with a car as a gift before leading him upstairs, where a group of women awaits. Franklin tries to resist, but the realization dawns. His drink has been drugged. Unable to fight back, he is pulled into the situation, while Sig secretly records everything. Hours later, Franklin wakes up groggy and disoriented. It's already late at night when he rushes back home in the new car, only to find Anton there. Apparently, Anton has bought every single piece of Jala's artwork. He mocks Franklin for working under Sig before leaving, which sets the stage for an argument between Franklin and Jala. She's furious that he missed her event and came home smelling of alcohol. The fight escalates into a debate over Franklin's moral choices, and when he points out that she's benefiting from the money he makes, Jala tries to walk out. In an attempt to stop her, Franklin reaches for her, and in the struggle, they both tumble into the pool. Without missing a beat, Franklin rewinds time to prevent the accident, but Jala immediately senses that something strange just happened. She soon realizes that people who touch Franklin when he rewinds can retain their memories of it. Confronted with the truth, she pieces it all together. This is why Franklin always seemed to know exactly what to say or do around her. Feeling betrayed, Jala walks away, leaving Franklin determined to bring everything to an end. The next day, Franklin storms into Renee's office, gun in hand, demanding the safe's combination. Renee screams for help, forcing him to rewind and try again. This time, he moves cautiously, but an unexpected pain from touching an object on her desk makes him misfire. Another rewind. This time, he covers her mouth and forces her to write down the combination. However, when he tests the code, he finds it fake. Frustrated, Franklin rewinds once more and resorts to shooting Renee in the leg. This time, she gives up the real combination. With one final rewind, Franklin smoothly plays it off, simply telling Renee that he'll be in his office all afternoon. Once she leaves, he cracks open the safe and takes all the incriminating evidence against Sig. That night, he turns to Andy, convincing him to broadcast the files during a major basketball game. Andy hesitates, knowing it could cost him his job, until Franklin deposits a hefty sum into his account. That's all it takes for Andy to agree. The following day, Franklin prepares to flee the city while desperately trying to reach Jala, but she won't answer his calls. As the much-anticipated basketball game begins, Andy follows through on his end of the plan. Instead of sports highlights, the screens in the arena and across multiple news networks begin displaying the damning evidence Franklin has gathered, exposing Sig's crimes to the world. As the world watches in shock, security footage reveals the brutal truth. Calvert was the one who killed the shooter's wife. Her death wasn't random. She was silenced because she knew the dark secrets behind Sig's medicine. Meanwhile, Franklin attempts to leave his house, but before he can even reach his car, someone knocks him unconscious. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself at an airport being dragged toward a private jet by guards. Sig is there, waiting, and demands that Franklin tell the world his video was fake. Franklin refuses, but then Sig plays his final card. Jala is also in his custody. As the two are pushed together, Jala whispers to Franklin that she's proud of him. In response, Franklin subtly tells her to use the ring. Understanding his cue, she touches the stone and stomps on a guard's foot, breaking free and sprinting toward the arriving police cars. Chaos erupts. Franklin is shoved onto the plane, and it takes off just as police officers open fire. One of their bullets strikes the engine, causing it to sputter and fail. Calvert, at the controls, insists they need to land, but Sig orders him to keep going. As Franklin contemplates his next move, Sig suddenly touches him, and time rewinds. Realizing the ring's ability, Sig desperately tries to reset the events multiple times, hoping to prevent the engine from being hit. But each time, 57 seconds isn't enough to change fate. Franklin watches, a small smile forming. If Sig is doomed, he doesn't mind going down with him. Panic takes hold of Sig as he rushes to Calvert, demanding he turn the plane around. But it's already too late. The plane crashes. Moments later, police and Jala arrive at the crash site. Among the wreckage, Franklin, Calvert, and Renee manage to survive, barely escaping before the plane erupts into flames, with Sig still trapped inside. Before Franklin can even process everything, Anton arrives with his assistant. He reveals a shocking truth. Ingram deliberately let Franklin have the ring, believing he was the perfect test subject. The ring, made of rare quantum crystals discovered by Anton, is an immensely powerful tool. Now Anton wants Franklin to work for him, but Franklin has seen enough. He compares the ring's power to Sig's addictive medicine. Both are dangerous and both corrupt. When Anton asks for the ring back, Franklin makes a bold decision. Instead of handing it over, he smashes it to pieces. Anton watches as Ingram quickly does calculations and then, surprisingly, offers Franklin a job anyway, claiming he needs someone who has the strength to say no to him. Franklin doesn't hesitate. He rejects the offer once again and returns the tribands before walking away. With Jala by his side, Franklin chooses a different path, one without manipulative technology, dark conspiracies, or dangerous power. They leave to build a life together, free from it all. All right, my amazing people, if you enjoyed this breakdown, you're in for a treat. There's so much more incredible content coming your way. So don't miss out, hit that subscribe button, and be part of this journey. Your support means the world to me. Stay awesome, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you all, take care, and bye.